my name is Winrich, and this is a video about the staggered four corners, a trick that I've been trying to learn since about 2008. That's like 12 years, and probably that's longer than some of you watching this video have been alive. Yeah, staggered four corners. So what on earth is the staggered four corners? Well, first, the four corners by itself does have the reputation of being the single most difficult whip crack to do with one whip, or two whips for that matter. And the whip cracks to the four corners of the earth. It goes north, east, west, and then south. Yeah, I did say four corners of the earth. I follow a flat earther group on Twitter. It says they have members around the globe. The idea of the four corners is to get the whip to crack from one corner to the next one right after the other. And when you do it with two whips, it becomes twice as hard. And when you stagger it, it becomes infinitely harder. Okay, maybe like 4 times as hard. Yeah, the staggered four corners. So basically I get four corners. As I said, it's 4 cracks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 cracks in back, 2 flick cracks in front. And then when you stagger it, it becomes an 8 crack pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you might wonder, man, why did you spend 12 years learning to do the four corners? Well, I would say the first tape or movie that made me want to crack whips in the first place was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, right here on VHS. And the video that made me want to get good with whips is another VHS tape from Australia, produced by Mike Murphy, called Dueling Whips. And this video is about the 1999 Australian Whip Cracking Championships. And to my mind, the coolest trick that anybody did out of all the cool tricks on this tape was the staggered four corners. And I understand there was only a couple people doing the staggered four corners a couple years before it was shown on this video in 1999. So people doing the staggered four corners only goes back about 20, 25 years. Lots of cool tricks on this video, and so I wanted to learn all the tricks that I thought were great on this video of the Australian Whip Cracking Championships. So I studied, and I studied, and I practiced, and you might be wondering, what was so difficult about learning the staggered four corners? Well, to sort of walk through my learning process, in about 2008, it was Simon Martin that explained to me that whichever whip is on top while you're doing the together four corners is the one that has to crack first. So I started working on that, just do the together four corners, and then I knew my right hand had to crack first. So I couldn't get too many of the cracks in the beginning. And then I practiced a lot more, and my next advice came from Charlie Hassett in about 2012. And Charlie was telling me that, so there's the 8 crack stagger, yeah, you could do that, but he was able to do a 6 crack staggered pattern, where instead of going for those super hard front cracks there in a stagger, he would just do the 2 back cracks and then the cracks in front for a 6 crack staggered pattern. And that's a pretty good trick to work on. And once I was able to get that, it was very easy to add this overhead front crack in my right hand, because I am right-handed and my right hand's my strong hand. So I was doing like this. And the best I could do was get 7 of the 8 cracks. And I thought, I'm so close. I just got this one crack left to get in my left hand. How hard can that be to get? It turns out it can be pretty hard. It was pretty hard. So I did a lot of stuff trying to make my left hand much stronger with the four corners, because I thought that's all that's missing. I just need a little bit more coordination in my weak hand and my left hand. So I'm not going to take you through everything that I worked on, but here is something I would do, where I'd crack the four corners in my left hand and sing a little song. Hey now, you're an all-star, get the game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star, get the show on, get paid. all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. Thank you. Thank you. That is a course called Copyright Infringement. Yeah. So I worked on a lot of different stuff, but here I'll finally tell you the two things that helped me learn the staggered four corners. Let's see. First, I did have to get a different set of whips. While I could use those Simon Martin Whip-A-Lace whips to do the four corners, I kept thinking I could make myself a better set of whips. So I tried a bunch of different materials, and I finally settled on 275 cord. And I came up with a design, and I also showed the design to Connor Hack of Caliber Whips, and Connor Hack actually made this set of whips that I have here. So probably the main difference between these whips and those whips is these are a little bit more limber, they're more flexible, they don't quite have as much lead loading in the first part of the thong, and the handles are lighter. I do remember an old video I had of Ben Hughes where Ben did explain to get all the four corners cracks, you need a very limber, well broken in set of whips. So these are very well broken in and very limber, so that helps. And the second thing that I needed to figure out, which took a while, was after I switched to these whips, I would start going for the staggered corners. I would do together, and then I would just do I found I was able to get the first two cracks when I would start the stagger. I'd do together, and then it'd be pop, and I was amazed that I was able to get finally two separate cracks in front going over my head, these two cracks there. And I was super excited, and I realized that what I've been doing wrong this whole time is that I was trying to get the full stagger all at once, and that's why my left hand was confused. And so I was trying to do the full stagger, and really what I needed to do was get all the cracks in the together four corners, and then just slightly stagger it, and just slowly, baby step by baby step, get my left to crack more independent of my right. So I'll try to demonstrate what I'm talking about. I'll start slow, and then just try to get my left hand to crack a little bit after my right. And I would find if I started missing those cracks, I just go back to together four corners and do a real slight stagger and work my way back out again. And that's what did it. And I'm super proud of myself. It took a long time. I had to come up with a whole new whip design just for myself. Other people didn't have to do that. Ben Hughes didn't have to do that. He just bought himself a good set of whips. Anyway, that's what I had to do. Now, you might be wondering, is the staggered four corners the greatest whip trick ever? Well, probably not. I know there's lots of other whip routines out there. Some popular whip routines out there right now include Daniel's Chaser, which is also a four corners trick, and the stagger's a little bit different. I can't quite do it, but once you see it, it's a little bit more of a crazy visual than the orthodox staggered four corners. So Daniel's Chaser is a good trick. And one other thing I would mention for any of you out there that either make lots of videos or do shows, that once you've learned the staggered four corners and you present it to people, general audience may not find this to be the most impressive trick that you are going to do. And that's because the staggered four corners is not the fastest or the loudest trick that can be done with a set of whips. So usually when I present the staggered four corners, or when I try to do it in front of people, I'll sandwich it in between other stuff. So maybe I'll do the regular four corners, which I can make loud, and then do the staggered four corners, which is a little bit quieter and syncopated, and then finish with, I just talked through a burp. That's how you know I'm in my 30s. Thank you, John Mulaney, for making me aware of that. So you finish with doing the four corners in your right hand and the volley in your left, or at least I do, because that's the fastest, loudest thing I can do. So we'll give that a shot. Together four corners. Well, that's my video about the staggered four corners. I hope it helps some of you out there learn how to do it. I'd also like to mention, if you've been watching my videos for years and you enjoy them and you'd like to show your support, you can drop $1 into my Venmo account. I'll put my Venmo hashtag, or whatever they call it, in the description. But if you don't have any money to donate, don't worry about it. I appreciate that you're taking your time out to watch my video. Well, again, my name is Winrich. Thanks for watching.